Hello, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Brotherly Love in the District. Tristan here alongside Jacob. Jacob, you want to tell them what we're going to get into today?
Yeah, so in football, there's been some big news around the league concerning some players and some coaching changes. For our team's Congress, just came out with some news about our everyone's favorite owner, Dan Schneider. Also, the Eagles made a few more signings. In hockey, we're going. It's starting to gear up towards the end of the season, so I want to talk about the games we've played and how our teams are doing. And into baseball, spring training is wrapping up here, and we're going to talk about how the Nats got beat and what looked like a football score. So let's get right into it.
Yeah, so we'll start like league wide like we usually do. Couple big things. Well, not really big. The Andy Dalton is still playing, and the Saints just signed him. One of a bigger signing is Jabril Peppers going to the Patriots. I think that's a big signing for the Patriots personally. And it's huge for the Giants too, not getting him back because I mean they have Xavier McKinney, but I don't know who their other safety would be without Jabril Peppers.
Anytime the Giants get worse, I'm happy.
That is also true. The Patriots got Jabril Peppers. The something that's really big that I want to talk about is Malcolm Jenkins retiring. Like that's I thought he was a lot younger than he actually is, but he's in his 30s. Like I knew he was in his 30s because last year when they let him walk and the Saints re-signed him, I knew he was like 31 or 32, but I feel like this is just an early retirement for him because like he was still playing at a high level. And the Saints signed him to a 5-year deal when they re-signed him. So it's not like he was, oh, that is not the right team. It's not like he was like just not performing. So I don't quite get why. I don't know why they signed him to a 5-year deal, but he's retiring and he was a good safety for the Eagles. He was one of the better signings for the Eagles. Him and Rodney McLeod came in at the same time. That was a huge free agency signing for the Eagles when they picked him up and Rodney McLeod. So but yeah, he had a heck of a career. He won 2 Super Bowls. He was there in 2009 when the Saints won. He was a rookie. So he has 2 Super Bowls. I'm interested to see if he will retire with the Saints or with the Eagles.
It'll probably be the Saints.
I would think it's going to be the Saints too, because since he did win a ring there, and that was the people who, that was the only people who, he was the first team that they were with, so I would see it being the Saints. He is the only player in NFL history to defeat both Tom Brady and Peyton Manning in a Super Bowl. So
his teams defeated Peyton Manning.
He played in the Super Bowl.
He played in the Super Bowl, but he alone didn't defeat Peyton Manning.
Yeah. But I mean, still, that's a big feat. I mean, because Tom Brady and Peyton Manning are easily 1 and 2 in quarterback rankings in NFL history.
Yeah, I have them 1 and 2.
So yeah, I mean that's still huge. But so that's kind of big. I really personally liked Malcolm Jenkins on the Eagles, and I was kind of sad when they let him walk. But congrats to him on his retirement. And Bruce Arians is also retiring.
Yeah, and Todd Bowles is getting.
Yeah, I was going to say I've seen rumors saying Todd Bowles is going to take over. Which honestly, I don't
have something to do with the fact that Brady's retiring. Once he comes out of retirement, Bruce Arians happens to retire and move to the front office.
I don't think Todd Bowles is a terrible coach. I mean, he did pretty decent. Decent is a word to go with there. He did decent with the Jets when he was their coach, but then again, it was the Jets, so you have to take that with a grain of salt. He was also an Eagles coach at one point, but I don't think he'll do terrible as the coach. I mean, he's defensive minded. They have a hell of a defense in Tampa. So he's still staying with the same people. And I think it's a pretty decent, if they do end up keeping Todd Bowles as the head coach, that's an in-house upgrade. And he's still with the team. The team knows him and he knows his players. So overall, I think that'd be a pretty good head coach for him.
And I think it'd be pretty hard to do bad with that team out in Tampa, considering they just re-signed Chris Godwin. I'm pretty sure they brought back Fournette. They have Brady, so I think they'll be fine.
It says here Julian Love is the other Giants safety.
Who in the world is that?
I'm pretty sure he doubles as a corner.
Is that Jordan's brother?
I don't know. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he doubles as a corner. Then they got a Dory Jackson and James Bradbury on the outside for corners. So, but yeah, I was just looking that up on the side. But yeah, so those two are retiring. Yeah, like you said, it's hard to not perform well in Tampa overall, because their hockey team's good too. So, and the Rays, Tampa's kind of flying all around right now.
Yeah, but they're good, but I don't think they're going to be considered one of the best. But another big signing is Bobby Wagner was
Rams.
He's unoriginal and went to the Rams, and it kind of makes me mad that I hate that this happened in the NBA because I followed the NBA, Tristan not so much, but I just don't like when players just go to the same team.
I do know like about the NBA and how they formed super teams and stuff.
They're starting to move away from that, thankfully, but yeah, I just don't like the move. But it's probably unrealistic to think that he would go to Washington, even though I'd love if he went, but I still would have liked to see him on another team that's still an upgrade contender.
He's old. He's old.
He's old, but he's still productive.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is he's at the age where he doesn't really care about money anymore. He knows his career's towards the end.
He signed a $50 million deal.
He got a well, okay, like you said, he's still productive. So a team will give him money. Like that's if he has an opportunity to make money because he plays well, then a team will give him money. That's the same thing with
he's 31 years old.
Yeah, I mean, for a linebacker in the NFL,
that's still not that bad considering all
not
the
bad, but it's still up there in age.
He's still a Pro Bowler.
If there's a team out there to give money away, they will give money
Rams somehow. Like, because
do you remember when the Titans signed Adam Humphries?
No.
He had a career year in Tampa. They gave him a 3-year, $10 million contract a year, $10 million a year contract, and he absolutely flopped in Tennessee. Like
I'm pretty sure he's on Washington now.
I think you're right. So
he had 300 yards last year.
So yeah, it's the he can make money, then he will. That's the way to put it. But he's at the point where he just wants another ring, and LA is the best possible place to do that because LA really does kind of have a super team right now. Like, yeah, I don't know who would really go through them at the moment. So
the Bengals almost did. So I think the Rams are beatable, and we saw that in the regular season. So I think they're certainly the favorites, but I don't think they're going to be considered unbeatable.
And I also, this would have to be double checked on, and actually I will do that right now. But this would have to be double checked on, but I saw something just a minute ago that Odell Beckham is going to the Packers.
I looked him up. I have not seen.
I don't see anything. Like I said, that's why I said it'd have to be double checked on because I'm not.
But if I was the Packers, I'm not sure. I wouldn't make that move because he's coming off an ACL tear, which that's hard to.
Yeah, but
that's hard to come back from.
Who else do the Packers have at receiver? So I don't think it's a terrible. Exactly.
They have Randall Cobb. If this was like 2014, I'd be hyped.
So yeah, I don't think it's a terrible signing for them if they do go through with it.
I just think there's a big question mark.
Well, yeah, I mean, anyone coming off an ACL injury, that's a huge question mark. That's one of the worst injuries in sports that you can have, in my opinion. Uh, so yeah, that's a big question mark there. Uh, Other than that, that's really the only big names to that have been moving. Then the Eagles. So I got more details on the Zach Pascal signing. So it's a 1 year, $1.5 million deal, and he's only getting basically 1.1 mil, and then 400,000 is a signing bonus, and then he has up to another mil that he can earn in incentives. And this was the interesting part. So, like we said last time, well, Nick Sirianni has said that Quez Watkins has potential to be one of the best number 2 wide receivers he's ever worked with. But he was trying to acquire Calvin Ridley, and then once that flopped, he went after Allen Robinson. So they were saying, I heard a couple of reporters saying, like, well, what does this mean for Quez Watkins? I think that just means Quez Watkins is still young. And then Zach Pascal brought up a couple more questions about that. Zach Pascal is not a number 2 receiver. He is a backup receiver, a number 3, number 4, who can come in, catch a couple balls, take some pressure off of the main guys. Quez Watkins alone had 650 yards this past season, and Zach Pascal still hasn't passed 600 yards once. So he's had a couple 600-yard seasons. He just hasn't passed it. And Quez Watkins did that alone by himself. So he's not a number 2 receiver. He got pushed into a number 2 receiver role last season because T.Y. Hilton and Paris Campbell both got hurt in Indy. But he's a backup receiver who can take some pressure off. And what that entails is the fact that the Eagles could still potentially, this does not change anything for their wide receiver needs. They could still draft one in the first round. They can still sign one. Like, this does not change anything from what they originally had planned. And I also just looked up, they released the details of the Derek Barnett signing. It's a 2-year, $14 mil deal. So he's getting $7 mil a year, which is it's decent. Last year he was making 10 mil. So it's a pay cut, which I'm okay with.
Yeah, that's good.
So I think overall that's a good signing, especially when they have no DNs. They have Josh Sweat, who has a lingering knee injury, Brandon Graham, who's coming off of an Achilles, who they think could be moved to the inside because he knows how to play on the inside, and then Hassan Reddick, who will be coming off the edge.
You guys barely have a defense aside from a few players here and there.
Yeah, so they definitely need to get one in the draft, which I think they'll address in the first round.
Get what, a defense?
Defensive end. Hopefully a corner too. Honestly,
and some linebackers, and you guys need safeties as well.
Speaking well, they re-signed Anthony Harris, and the Marcus Epps, the team really likes Marcus Epps. He's more of a free safety though, who just kind of wanders around. He's not a box safety. He can't come up and play the run. He's a guy who can play the pass. He runs well. So, but the team really likes him, and they think that he'll play well. He looks to be a starter this season with Anthony Harris, which kind of leaves some concern because Anthony Harris isn't a box safety either. So hopefully Kayvon Wallace can prove something because he is a box safety. He can play down and play the run. He needs to show something though. He's been hurt the past 2 seasons. And then speaking of linebacker, the Eagles also just signed Kaiser White to a 1-year deal. And overall, it doesn't look like a bad signing because last season he had 144 total tackles, 90 solo, only 1 sack, but that's because he's a roaming linebacker, not a blitzer.
Yeah.
So that looks better than it could be. That's the thing. Just like the Eric Wilson signing where they signed him and he looked like a good signing, but overall it
Not
wasn't
bad.
great because it's all about scheme. Eric Wilson was in a defense where he was playing more sideline to sideline, making tackles on the outside, and the Eagles tried to use him on the inside where he was filling gaps, where some big running back like Leonard Fournette would just absolutely plow through him. So it looks like a decent signing, but that's kind of something that you're going to have to look at when they do start playing, because he's not a very big guy. He's only 6'2", 216. He played safety in college and moved to linebacker. So that's something that we'll have to wait to see how that works out until the season, because if they try to use him the way that he should not be used, like they did with Eric Wilson, then this isn't going to last.
Yeah, he looks like a good signing, because I think any signing to your linebacker core at this point is a good one, because, I mean, if you were to ask pretty much every single NFL fan, I don't think they could name you 2 linebackers in that core. I truly don't think that.
Both linebackers this season. So the projected starting linebackers right now are Davion Taylor, who was a 3rd-round pick 2 years ago, the same year they drafted. Who did they draft that year? Jalen Reagor, I believe. Yes, Jalen Reagor that year. They drafted Davion Taylor, who was hurt the past 2 seasons, but he's a sideline to sideline guy, really fast, will play the pass really good. He runs really well, so he needs to stay healthy though. And then TJ Edwards, who was a practice squad guy, but he's the closest thing to a downhill linebacker that can fill gaps.
Yeah, but you just said it there. Practice squad.
Yeah, like you said, unless you are a Eagles fan, I don't know if you could name a starting linebacker from the Philadelphia team.
I'm pretty sure at this point, if you guys were to sign Lawrence Taylor, it'd still be an improvement, even with how old he is.
But yeah, honestly, looking towards the draft, I have no idea what the Eagles are going to look for in the first round.
I don't know, because you have so many needs, and it's just
so many
how are
needs,
you going to address
also
it?
so many things that they don't like. They haven't drafted a safety in the first round in years.
And I don't think that trend is like going to stop, because I cannot see you guys drafting a safety in the first round.
Kazir White's contract just is 1 year, $3 million guaranteed with a potential to make up to $5 million with incentives. So I just wanted to put the contract terms out there. But yeah, I don't know the last time the Eagles drafted a safety in the first round.
I don't either.
And I don't see them changing that this year as much as I want to, because they need one terribly.
You guys need a lot terribly. It should be interesting to see how you tackle this. Watch them do something dumb, like you guys draft another quarterback.
Yeah, Brian Dawkins was selected in the 2nd round.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I thought he was drafted in the 2nd round too. I just wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not what I wanted. Nate Allen was drafted. I can't. He was a decent Eagle safety, Nate Allen. I don't know if you remember who that was.
Nope.
He was a 2nd round pick. He was a decent safety. But yeah, they needed. I think safety is one of their bigger needs. Like, I'd rather a safety in the first round than a defensive end personally.
Yeah, I would too. Well, considering I think not a lot of teams draft safeties in the first round, I think the cream of the crop for this draft class in terms of safeties will be there when you're drafting. So
yeah,
I think there's a better chance of that than there is defensive end.
15, 16, and 19.
Yeah, I think you'll be able to get a decent.
This is a really deep defensive end draft, and the Eagles love drafting in the trenches. That
seems to be your bread and butter, whether it's your offensive or defensive trenches. That's always seemed to be your strengths.
So like I see them drafting a DN before them drafting a safety, but like what I want to see in the first round, which I know won't happen because the Eagles don't draft safeties or linebackers in the first round, would be corner, linebacker, safety in that order. That would be what I want. but they're not going to.
That
They'll
probably
go-
won't happen.
Yeah, and I have no idea where. I think they'll probably go D end, corner, and if they keep the third one, wide receiver. I don't see them keeping the third one though. I think he's going to
It'll
trade.
probably go like wide receiver, O lineman, D lineman.
No, I don't think I don't think they'll draft a lineman because like half the
I don't think they're
Eagles-
either, but Tristan, it's the Eagles. I mean, they've made some interesting choices in the
Yeah,
terms
but
of
they don't make
draft.
they haven't made choices that like that would be really stupid to draft an O lineman in the first round. The last
you
time
you guys have made stupid decisions in hindsight, like your wide receivers, but
the
at
Eagles
the time they seemed like decent until
most
they got onto the
most of the
field.
Eagles offensive line was drafted later in the draft. Jason Kelsey was a 6th round pick. Jordan Mailata, 6'8", 350-pound Nate freak of nature, was drafted in the 7th round. Jack Driscoll, who will probably be starting at a guard spot, was drafted in the 4th round, I believe. So like most of their offensive line was drafted in the later rounds. And Landon Dickerson, who will be starting at a guard spot, he was drafted in the 2nd round. So like they don't need, I don't think they'll draft an offensive lineman in the 1st round because
I don't either, but
what's I can't think of the offensive line coach. His name's fleeing my head right now.
yeah. Did you say Jep?
No, I was gonna say Jeff, but I don't think it's Jeff. I can't think of his name right now. He is really good at grooming the offensive line. So even if you draft a late player or a late draft O lineman and groom him, then I'm not worried about it.
What I think you guys should do, you should draft with your 3 first rounders, draft 3 quarterbacks, trade them away, and get a crap ton of capital.
Jeff Stoutland, that is his name.
No clue who that is.
It was just fleeing my head for a moment.
Well, and Tristan, do you think you guys could draft a running back? Because I think you might need.
That's not a 1st round thing. Definitely,
It's not a 1st round need, but do you think that could be a 2nd or 3rd?
2nd or 3rd round, maybe.
Because I've heard that this is a deep running back like draft, not in terms of like top end guys, but there's decent guys all around.
Yeah, well, that's where this kind of comes in an interesting spot is what they would do with Miles Sanders, because he has a little bit more. Howie Roseman has a little bit more money to work with. He's been opening up a lot of cap space. That Fletcher Cox release and re-sign opened up some more cap space. And so they could re-sign Miles Sanders, but I think they're going to want to wait to see if he gets injured again this season, because if he does, then he will be gone for sure. If he plays at least 14 games, I think they'll re-sign him, because when he plays, he does play well. If he can get some touchdowns this season, hopefully, if Jalen Hurts doesn't take all of them when they're within the 10-yard line. So hopefully but yeah, a running back maybe in the 2nd or 3rd round. Do you have any?
Yeah, I could see that.
Do you have an idea of where they would draft? The last time they drafted an offensive lineman in the 1st round was 2019, Andre Dillard, who has played like 5 starting snaps. And before that, it was Lane Johnson in 2013.
That's a good pick.
4th overall.
Wow.
So yeah, I don't think they're going to draft an offensive lineman. Do you have what Washington only has 1 pick, correct?
Yeah, 1 pick in the 1st.
Where do they draft 12th?
11?
I was going to say, I think it's 11th or 12th.
I think it's around there.
If Kenny Pickett falls, I think they might try to draft him.
If he falls to the 2nd or 3rd round, not
he
first.
Definitely won't. He won't.
Yeah, we have the 11th pick. I would like to see them go maybe wide receiver if one of the decent ones is still there, because I think we would be giving um Carson Wentz probably the most talented wide receiver core that he's had in his career. If we were to draft the interesting, I know
no,
you
no,
guys
no.
are in the Super
I thought you
Bowl.
were gonna say. I thought you were gonna say Carson Wentz. Give him the most talented wide receiver core he in the league. Like I thought you were
Oh
going
yeah,
to.
no,
I
no,
was
no,
gonna be like,
no. He's
whoa,
had it in
whoa,
his
whoa.
career, not the league. No, but that's a pick I would like to see them make. Maybe a corner. Um, we just lost two offensive linemen, so maybe there. I just think there's a decent amount of needs that this team needs to address. We need a tight end, so I frankly don't know where we're going to go with this pick. I do not think we should go quarterback with 11th. If we're going to go with one, it should be if one falls to 2 or 3. But
Uh,
yeah, I don't. It's hard to say.
yeah, I would say I could see you guys. You probably should get an offensive lineman early.
Yeah, we should try to, because we lost 2 guards. We got up Norwell. He should be decent. We should try and get another one, a guard or a tackle. We need more on that, because that's been our strong suit, and we don't want to get rid of that.
Uh, but other than that,
Oh,
the
I have a quick thing to mention on Washington. Congress has received information that the Washington football team owner Dan Schneider may have kept 2 financial books to paint different pictures of their finances. So that could possibly be counted as fraud, and I hope it is. So maybe this whole Congress investigation will actually lead to something. So I'm crossing my fingers.
and just to finish it off here, Eagles bringing back their Kelly Greens. I'm excited.
I do like those jerseys.
2023, they should be coming back. But yeah, I think we'll end it off there. I'm so excited. These things are beautiful. But they should be coming back in 2023. Going over to hockey, 14 games left. Tell me what you're thinking. You guys are 6 points behind Pittsburgh right now. Same amount of games though.
Yeah, it's possible we can catch them. We got smoked by the Hurricanes, but that's the only time they've beaten us this year, which is good. We beat the Devils 4-3 and the Sabres 4-3 in a shootout. It's possible we can catch them, but we really have to get hot. Ovi's been playing great. Kuzi's on a very good point streak. The only thing that I think is questionable is defense and goaltending, like it has been the entire year. I just think we just need to get hot and do something in the play. As it stands right now, I'm expecting a first round loss.
Wait, right now you guys would be playing. I'll bring it up real quick. Right now, you guys would be playing Florida. Actually, Florida or Carolina. I think it'd be Carolina first.
I would prefer Carolina because we've beaten them more times.
I also think that Carolina has a worse defense than Florida does, and a worse goalie. Actually, Freddie Anderson has been playing pretty well this season. But as you know, with Toronto has a bad history of losing, and he was in Toronto for years before this. So he hasn't played well in the playoffs in his career. So I think they'd have a better chance against Carolina then.
Yeah, then we would Florida.
Because Florida all around is just,
they're nasty.
Yeah, they are a bad team.
And with Claude Giroux actually playing decent since he's got there.
Dude, on a line with Huberdeau and Barkov. Like
I don't want to play that.
That is a disgusting line. That's probably the second best first line in the NHL.
Yeah, I'd rather play the Hurricanes. We have a better shot. We've seen them more times. We've beat them more than they beat us this season.
I'm trying to, where is but yeah, I mean, dude, I'd say that's the second best first line in the NHL, right behind McKinnon, Landeskog, and Rantanen. when
Yeah.
Landeskog gets healthy.
Well, yeah, when all those players are healthy and playing together, which doesn't happen that often.
Uh, the the Flyers have been bringing up a lot of young guys, and
Which is what they should be
yeah,
doing.
and they're playing pretty decently. Travis Konechny just scored his first 2-goal game of the season.
Wow, that's bad.
But the good thing is like he's playing well. He's playing faster. Chuck Fletcher asked him, Farabee, Provorov, like some of the younger guys, some of the older younger guys, if that makes sense, to start taking some leadership roles, because with Giroux gone, I mean, that's a huge thing. And so
I wonder who your next captain is going to be.
Sean Couturier, easy. Absolutely no doubt in my mind that it is Sean Couturier. He just signed an 8-year deal. He is the overall best player on the team right now, because he has both offensive and defensive skill. He was a Selke Trophy winner 2 years ago. He just needs to get healthy. He just had back surgery, so he's out for the season. But I think they'll probably just roll with 3 A's for the rest of the season with Couturier out.
Or Tristan. It could be Roman Josi.
Roman Yoshi's on the Predators. Ryan Ellis is the
Ryan
one.
Ellis. I always get those two mixed up. It could be Ryan Ellis, or you could trade for Roman Josi.
If Roman Josi was the captain of the Flyers while on the Predators, that is absolutely impressive.
That would be funny. The Predators come to town to play. They're like, oh, it's a pregame ceremony. We're naming the new captain, Roman Josi.
But let's see. Why won't they show me? I want to see if last 5 games. Oh, Nashville was. Dang, dude. In his first game with Florida, he had 2 points.
Yeah, I saw that on Instagram. He's been playing good.
I mean, like I said, that he has 5 points with the Panthers already.
Yeah, that's why I do not want to play the Panthers. I mean, we're gonna lose in the first round probably regardless, but I'd like to win at least 1 or 2 games. I don't want to get blown out. I don't want to get smoked like the Nats just got smoked.
Yeah, I think Florida is definitely. I want Florida to win. It's so weird looking at this picture of Giroux in a Panthers jersey. It doesn't look right. I want the Panthers to win the cup now. I mean,
I don't know who I want to win the cup. Once I see the playoff bracket, then I'll be able to make a decision, but I have no clue who I want to win.
I just want to see Giroux win a cup. He's much deserving of it.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously want the Caps to win, but let's be realistic. That's not going to happen. We'll be lucky if we win a series.
Yeah. But yeah, so the Flyers are bringing up a ton of their young guys, and they're getting a lot of playing time. Cam York looks like he's going to be here to stay. And him and Ivan Provorov are playing so well together because they actually have consistency in partners. And something that's huge is the fact that Cam York is playing on his off side, but he's still playing well, which is huge. So he's breaking up plays before they get to the blue line and causing some disruption. He looks calm playing in the NHL. And something that I heard a reporter say, he said that he's playing better in the NHL than he did in the AHL and in college, which you're probably wondering why. Like, that's kind of strange. But the NHL is so much more of a structured game than the college and AHL, which, I mean, I get that. Like, if you're playing, there are 2 types of games. You have ones where they're like just going back and forth and there is no breaks. And then there's other ones where you're actually like sitting back, you're possessing the puck, trying to produce offense, stuff like that. So like, I see where they're coming from, and that makes sense. So he was more of a structured player anyway. So he's playing really good. He looks like he's going to be up to stay. Morgan Frost has been starting to pick up points, and he needs he needs to play on on a line with other talented players. Because I mean, if you have a talented player pass into some scrubs, that makes it kind of hard to work with. So he needs to play
Drew
on.
to most of the Flyers rosters after like 2013.
Yeah, exactly. Like Giroux carried the Flyers team on his back for most of those seasons.
I mean, the fact that he's never played with a 40 goal scorer, it surprises me, and yet it doesn't.
I don't know if he's even played with a 30 goal scorer.
I think he's played with a 30, but I don't know. If it was, it definitely wasn't a high 30s.
Like the Cam Atkinson was the closest thing to a pure goal scorer that he's played with probably since Simone Gagne, and he didn't play much with Simone Gagne because Gagne was only there for a little bit. Yeah, he was only there for a little bit, and they didn't play on the same line. So he might have seen him a little bit on like power play time, but that's about it. So yeah, but this is, I feel like the Flyers have an actual decent future coming up now. Like they're moving to their younger guys. I don't see Giroux coming back in the offseason. He said in his 1000th game ceremony that after the season he wants to come back, but I don't see it happening. Like, because
if I was him, I wouldn't. I'd try and rack up as many points as I can, and that's not going to happen on the Flyers.
He also, if you think about it, like now that he's in Florida, he's not the guy. In Philadelphia, he was the guy constantly. So like I even heard I was listening to an interview that they had with Travis Konechny, and he was saying, yeah, with G here, when we had a rough game, it would all kind of fall back on Giroux, and he would kind of like everyone would go to him about the game. He's like, with him gone, like it kind of falls on us. But like the point there is that like Giroux was taking everything for the Flyers. He was the guy there for so long. And now in Florida, like you got Barkov and you got Huberdeau, who are both more of the guy than he will be. He's just there to score some points, which I think is a much better opportunity for him because he can just sit back and play the game. I also heard something about why Chuck Fletcher was going after the 2023 draft picks as opposed to 2022. That's because he likes the way that the draft looks. The scouts have been saying that the 2023 draft looks a lot deeper overall than the 2022 draft. And who knows, hopefully by 2024, the Panthers will be bad and that'll be a good draft pick.
Probably not.
I don't see it happening anyway, but
I doubt that.
There's always that hope. And as of right now, the Flyers are drafting 5th if everything in the lottery were to stay the same. Which I'm not sad about that pick. That'd be a pretty decent pick. But other than that, that's really all I got on the Flyers end.
Yeah, that's all I got for the Caps.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about the Caps and who they could potentially be playing in the playoffs. This
potentially losing to.
Side note, this is the first time since before 2010 that the Flyers will be missing the playoffs 2 years in a row. They have been going on and off. Like since 2010, they went and then didn't go, went, didn't go, went, didn't go, all for 10 straight years. So this is the first season that the first 2 seasons that they will be going back to back, missing the playoffs or making.
That's bad. The Buffalo Sabres are going to say, "Hold my beer."
Well, no, because they haven't been going on and off. Like it was the first time in any sport, not just hockey.
Any sport. But I'm saying, like, you think like going 2 years without the playoffs is bad? The Buffalo Sabres.
I was just going for the record, like the fact that they went 10 years going back and forth, and now, like, I think it's just shocking that this is the first time that they're doing something for 2 years in a row, whether it was going to the playoffs or not going to the playoffs. Sadly, it's not going to the playoffs, but like that's
not going to the playoffs.
That's just a weird record. But overall, the team looks pretty good for the future. And Carter Hart had an amazing bounce back season this year. So that's looks bright for the future. And the Flyers were officially mathematically eliminated when they lost to the Wild.
Man, man,
Such
I
a
was rooting
shame.
for
Dude, I really think they had a shot. Like, they could have came back.
you.
Such a
Sure.
close one. Uh, but yeah, that's all I really have for Philadelphia end.
Yeah,
We're
now
gonna
we can get into
wrap it up.
baseball.
Dude,
Yay.
only a week left until opening day. I'm excited.
I'm happy about that, but we're not going to do that good because I don't know if you've seen, I know it's preseason, but the Nats got smoked 29-8.
Yeah,
And
but the thing is, that's gonna be most of the Nats team right there.
I know. And I mean, I think the president will have a decent offense and our pitching is going to be horrendous because Strasburg, he's still working on an injury. And after that, Patrick Corbin is our main guy and he played horrible last year. We don't really have a bullpen. So yeah, this is going to be a fun season to watch, Tristan. I mean, hopefully cheap tickets once we're out of the playoffs. Once we're out of the playoffs by July,
I was gonna say by the third week of the season.
probably we'll be lucky to still be in it in May.
You guys are you guys are the worst team in spring training right now in the league.
High draft pick.
You're 1-10 in spring, which that doesn't mean anything because I mean
I know it's spring
NFL,
training, but I think we've been playing our starters a lot, so this is bad.
Yeah, I'm gonna look because wow, that is sad.
On the bright side, we just released the cool cherry blossom uniforms,
which actually I do like. Those are
those are really nice.
the gray with the hint of pink. I think that looks nice.
Yeah, but that 29-8, I have a feeling that's not going to be the only time we get smoked this season.
The fact that you could score 29 runs is insane. I was talking to someone earlier.
I think that's more than the Washington football team has scored this entire year. I'm pretty sure I don't know if we've reached above that.
I was talking to someone earlier and they said that two of their players would have beaten the Nationals by themselves with their RBIs.
That's bad. I mean, that's terrible.
Yeah, with DeYoung and
Paul DeYoung.
Capel, I don't know who that is, but they had 5 and 4 RBIs respectively, and those two alone would have beaten Washington.
I mean, they have Albert Pujols as well. That's a cool little signing for his last year.
Yeah, I did see that he's going there to finish off his career there where he started, which I think
hopefully he reaches 700 homers because he's only 21 away, and since he's going to be able to be the DH, hopefully he can stay healthy and reach that.
Oh, and that's like, I think that's
a big milestone.
Definite Hall of Famer right there.
Yeah, the last person to get close to 700 was A-Rod, but he fell 4 short.
I want to see. I'm trying to see your stats, like to see who's been playing a ton, who's been playing a lot. Because I want to see if it is a lot of your starters.
I know they've been playing a lot more than 3 innings.
It's not really showing me who. Player. That's why. I was like, why isn't this letting me look? Spring training nationals. This is okay. So I brought up spring training and then put nationals, and it brought me the first team on the list is the LA Angels.
Why?
There we go. Yeah, it doesn't have how many innings they've played, but has how many games they've played. Josh Bell 9, Juan Soto 8, 11 games have been played so far for you guys. Cesar Hernandez 7, Yadiel Hernandez 11, Lane Thomas, who he's played 10, D Strange Gordon, he's played 10. So yeah, like you guys do have a lot of do have a lot of top people playing a lot of games.
Yeah, Tristan, this isn't going to be good. This this is going to be a fun season in terms of it's going to be fun to laugh at, but in reality, it's hiding pain.
What give me your projections on the standings. I think we went over this last season or last week, but I just reiterate.
Mets, Braves, Phillies, Marlins, Nats.
Wow.
I think we'll be
Mets,
lucky to
man.
get. I think we'll be lucky to get like 70 wins. I think we'll be lucky if we do that.
All right. I have just okay. I'll give you a little bit of a homer pick first because I do think it's possible.
It's possible the Phillies do good and win the division.
It's possible. I think the Phillies could win the division. It's possible.
It's banking on your pitching though, because if you're able to trade somebody like Bohm for pitching, then that would be good.
Which I just saw something. Speaking of Bohm, I just saw something that they could have Bryson Stott starting at third base on opening day, which would put Didi Gregorius at shortstop. And then
so my prediction of a trade for Alec Bohm may be correct. One of my only few correct predictions.
But he said in the future, Stott is the shortstop of the future. So Didi Gregorius won't get re-signed after this season. But he said he could potentially be playing third base because they want him to play. And he said that if he does make the show, that he's not going to be sitting on the bench and just a hitting guy. He's actually going to be playing because it doesn't make sense to bring him up and then sit him down. Yeah. So Girardi said if he plays, he's playing. Adam Hazley just got traded for a 28-year-old bullpen pitcher from the White Sox. So he's gone. And we do need bullpen pitchers badly. But with the combination of Schwarber and Castellanos and Bryce Harper, they're looking nasty. But all right, back to I have a realistic and a homer pick. All right. So I'll do my homer pick because obviously I'm going to pick the Phillies to win the division. I'm going to go Phillies, Braves, Mets, Marlins, Nationals. And then in my realistic pick, the only thing I'm changing is the Braves and the Phillies. I think they just flip and the Phillies will finish second. I think the Phillies will make a wild card at the worst. I think they do have potential to win the division. Thing there is, though, the key word there is potential because we know Philadelphia and the fact that they like to underachieve. So
you need Zach Wheeler to have another great season, and you need Aaron Nola to step up. Have a
Zach Eflin needs to step it up. Who got emotional after his first start after his surgery. So he couldn't play last season. So I mean, He came out and pitched well and he was emotional about it, which I think that's huge. Like after you get an injury and you get to come back and play, that's huge. But yeah, I'm excited for the season. Only a week until opening day.
I'm excited, but then reality is gonna.
You're gonna be like me with the Flyers. Like you'll be excited for the first week, and then once you realize,
then I'll be like, "This is bullcrap. What is this?"
Okay, I don't want to watch this. Yeah. And I believe the Phillies start out their first
against the A's. You said?
Oh, you're right. It was the A's. Because I was gonna say I think it was against Nick Castellanos' former team, the Reds, but they played him last season, so I don't think that's who they play. And the A's fell off. The A's traded Matt Olson.
They traded everyone. Matt Chapman
and Matt Chapman.
Yeah, Matt Chapman is now Blue Jay. The Blue Jays are going to be nasty this year. They could win the division.
Dude, the AL East is nasty.
Yankees
nasty, Red Sox, Blue Jays,
the Rays. The only bad team is the Orioles, but they're actually not particularly bad. I mean, the Nats are probably worse. There's definitely worse teams out there.
Yes, I mean the AL East is. I think you could get 4 teams from the AL East in the playoffs.
I think you will
because you have. There's now 3. It's 6 teams, so 3 wild card teams. The whole 3 divisions throws me off in baseball. Like it's because I'm so used to football having 4 divisions.
Yeah.
Or 8, 4 for each conference. And the NHL, you just kind of have to look at the conference as a whole. Wild card doesn't play as big of a factor like it does in the NFL and MLB. But yeah, with that, that's all I have.
That's all I got.
All right, so I think we're gonna close it out there. You guys can follow our Instagram at BL in the DC, or you can DM us questions and comments. You can email us questions and comments at blinthedc@gmail.com. You can rate us on Apple and Spotify, and you can leave a review on Apple where if you want to leave a question, a comment. And with that, we're going to end it off there. So we will see you guys next week.
See you later.